Good evening, viewers. My name is Himba Malambo, and I welcome you to Ubuntu on the program known as Political Tuesday. This is the program where we talk about issues that affect our day-to-day lives and our policies in our country. We also at times also talk about social life, and you're welcome wherever you are to join us in the studio. You can use the link which is already shared on all our platforms. You are welcome to come and share ama views yenu tulefo kumfa nefyo mwikeloko muli nefyo ntungulushi chile tusaka ama ntungulushi shaba ma politics. So tulefo mwesa mwatweba ngama floods yalishani ngobunga na buchipoko muli uko nga bakapokola bale mpokolola ko bwino. If they are following the laws of Zambia, we want to know. Please come. You are welcome to the program. Timwa to join nga mlefo kwisa mu studio ama links opo yali nga mlefo kushika comment timwa commenta. With me in the studio, I've got CJ, who is my co-host. CJ, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Himba. Good evening, viewers.
Thank you so much, CJ. Happy Valentine.
Same, looking lovely in red.
You know, I'm being spoiled. I think Valentine's Day it's another Women's Day.
Yeah. all these days they are focused at women. They are ones that are being showered.
What do you expect? Thank you so much, CJ. Yeah. With us in the studio, we've got able leaders, the people who've been in the steering wheel, the people who speaks on our behalf, the people who look into the majority interest of the Zambian people. We are joined by handsome, intelligent, and wise leaders. Our viewers, be informed that we still have another group of people who will be joining us here. Who are not yet with us in the studio, but they'll be joining us very soon. But allow me to introduce the team which is with us in the studio. I'll start with Bwalya. Bwalya, welcome to the program. Comrade Mfwaya, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, moderator. Sorry, the internet is performing here. I don't know what really is going on.
It's okay, comrade. We understand you. It's nice to have you.
I'm really humbled. Thank you. It's also a pleasure being here.
Thank you, my dear. We also have Comrade Nondo. Comrade Nondo, welcome to the program. Twabomba fe bwino katuyishimwe namba twala bamayo kya mukubashitira kalira ya
tubatwala every day.
lelo nimbi
awe we don't respond to social
to social pressure. Valentine's name.
Not forget Mukelabai, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Himba. Thank you, everyone. Good evening, viewers. We're too missed to join your show.
Happy Valentine to you. Hope you've spoiled my rival.
Yes, you did. Well spoiled. And yes,
thank you so much, Mukelabai. Before we go any further, allow me to mention that as Ubuntu, we stand with our beloved sisters and brothers, mothers and fathers, our grandfathers, grandmothers in Turkey, who are going through a trying moment at this moment. And we stand with them, and we are with them in spirit, and we are praying for them that whatever situation they are going through, it will come to pass, although it's not something easier. We just want to mention that we are with them. CJ, over to you. Please introduce the topic of today.
Thank you very much, viewers. Today is Tuesday. We are looking at the topic Zambia is not ready for mature or civilized politics. Zambia is not ready for mature or civilized politics. So that's today's topic. And getting straight into it, we'll start by a few introductions. Mufaya, today is his first time to be part of this program. So I'll request you just to introduce yourself to public, just briefly who you are and where you're coming from, so that as we go on, our viewers have a bit of background information on you. Comrade Mufaya.
Thank you so very much, Comrade CJ. My name is Mufwaya Riu. I come from the newly formed political party, Zambia Must Prosper, led by my president, KBF, a prominent lawyer, Kelvin Bwalya. Yes, we launched in actually 2022 August. So we've actually been around for a while, but politically we've been involved in politics for the longest time so far. Yeah. So that's simply who I am.
Thank you very, very much. Nondo, you are not new, but just briefly for the attention of our new viewers, in case they've just joined the program, a brief introduction about yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. Bwalya Nondo is my name. Bwalya Nondo is a household name in politics. I'm coming from the paper of France, from the National Media Committee. As simple as that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nondo. We have Mukelabai. Mukelabai, a brief background about yourself as well, just for our viewers to also know.
Mukelabai is my name. One of the people that supported Michael Chilufya Sata, and eventually things got worse. I decided to jump out of the party and became my own, being a Zambian, and started supporting the current government, the UPND. And I'm one of the people who campaigned so much against Bolungu that Lungu's government be ejected. And I was happy that we took them out. Now we are waiting to see how this new guy we brought in is going to perform. If he doesn't, chuck him as well. That's me in a nutshell.
Thank
And I'm a Zambian.
My introduction now. So straight away, let's get into the topic of discussion. Zambia is not ready for mature or civilized politics. Is this statement a correct statement? And what are we looking at when we say mature or civilized politics? I'll start with Comrade Nondo. Comrade Nondo, your input on that one.
Thank you very much, Comrade. I think what is important is to look at the two terms that are being used here, mature and civilized. Are we going to define these two terms from a European perspective or from our own perspective? If we are to define these two terms from our own perspective, Zambia has always been ready for mature and civilized politics for as long as somebody doesn't come from outside to define what civilization means to us and what maturity is. Because I'm saying so, the people that have defined these two ways are not civilized, neither are they mature. Looking at the way they treat African politicians and the way they've actually controlled African politics. Because African politics don't operate on an independent platform, there's always foreign interference by people that want to dictate how we should conduct our own politics. Therefore, it's very difficult to answer this question without defining from which perspective are we looking at our civilization in terms of politics and our maturity in terms of politics. That's my subject.
Thank you
CJ,
very
you're
much.
muted.
Okay, are you able to get me now? Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Nondo, for that submission. I'll go to Mr. Mufaya. Comrade Mufaya, what is your take on that statement? Is it true? And what is your interpretation of civilized as well as mature politics?
Playing around terms, like Comrade Nondo said, civilization. What are we talking about when we talk about civilization or civilized politics? And what is being civilized? And also, who is gauging what maturity, or in what terms exactly are we talking about when we talk about maturity? Look at where we're coming from. We're coming from a place or a point where we were judged by a wrong yardstick on whether we were ready to take care of our very selves, our space, our people, our resources, because someone somewhere felt there was need for us to be controlled. They looked for words which they kept changing over time to suit the definition of what was going to benefit them. If you are to ask, are we ready for civilized politics? We are civilized enough. That is why we are having this discourse. Earlier, Comrade Himba Malambo gave us rules on how we are going to move or how this program was going to be coordinated. And we had, and we are playing by the same rules that were given. That's civilization enough, and that's maturity enough. And already, I think the biggest problem is who defines maturity, like Comrade Nondo said. That is where the issue is. If you are to ask, is Zambia ready for mature and civilized politics? Of course we are. We are.
Thank you for that submission. I'll throw that same question to Mukelabai, and then Himba, you can take it up from there. Mukelabai.
Thank you very much, gentlemen and the lady. What is civilization, and who scales, who gives us, who puts us there? Like my colleagues have put it here. I think it's a very important question. And are we practicing a civilized politics in Zambia? I think my colleagues have already stated something here, which I'm really agreeable with them, that say we are practicing civilized politics, and we are there. The only thing that we need to work on is, have we thrown out our own culture in this so-called civilized politics, or we just paste and copy from the so-called Western world? Do we still exercise our moral code while we are busy practicing the politics that we purport to do or to undertake as civilized? So I think let me not go very further. We can debate further as we move on. But otherwise, omuchinshi mu politics yesu tuchita mu Zambia ine onde mwana kuti epo tufuire twawomberapo sana, that the respect is not there anymore. We are running away from our culture and adopting foreign cultures that are not in line with our norms, and that makes us looks as if we are being uncivilized. But now the question ni nani ule tuchita scale? Who put us? Who weighs us? Is it our own self or spectators out there?
Thank you so much, Mukelabai. You've asked a question, and I think I'd love, we Zambians, we have a tendency of shifting the blame. So if we are saying in the political arena, there's takwabo mchinshi, ngefe tulelanda, Nondo, ni nani abafumye omuchinshi mu politics. Bantu tetwebe abantu abakweba tino kule abalefumye omuchinshi mu politics. Who are we blaming at tamwabo muchinshi? Nondo, are you agreeing that muma politics tamwabo muchinshi? Inga tamwabo muchinshi ni nani bafumye hapo?
Wonderful. It's a very good question. Muma politics umuchinshi omuwaba, but not always. Remember that as politicians, we don't just find ourselves as politicians. We come from homes. So it depends on an individual. How have you been brought up? Even when you come into politics, that's what you are going to bring in. You are not going to act different. So the character you see in most politicians is a reflection of where they are coming from, how they've been brought up. But again, we need to be mindful that respect is earned. So as leaders, we need to check ourselves. How do we conduct ourselves? Do we conduct ourselves in a way that would demand respect? If you are going to be lying, if you are going to be stealing, if you are going to be a leader that doesn't inspire the people, do you expect to be given respect? So before we demand for respect, as politicians, as leaders, let's check ourselves. What kind of character do we have? We have a character that inspires. We have a character that demands for that respect. If we are not, then we should not complain, because we are just getting that which we saw. So in politics, most people say politics is a dead game. I refuse. I have a very different concept about politics. Politics is the cleanest game, full of dead players. So we should not blame the game. Let's look at the players. Bwalya Nondo bakutushashani okona fumaini balinje bati abakalamba bali bonse nibawiise nibanoko. So even when I'm addressing somebody who is older than me, when I'm addressing a leader, there are certain words I cannot just use. But at times, if I'm aggrieved, I can use hard words, and those hard words must not be mistaken for insults. For instance, Bamalambo Mwalepa, Nalando Kuwatawe Munyenga Wenye. I'm not insulting, I'm just telling you that you are lying here. So that's how we must actually look at that. We should not say, no, we don't have respect in politics. We have respect when respect is needed. And we have disrespect, especially when leaders misrepresent themselves or misconduct themselves. That's how I look at it.
Nondo, namulanda kwa kalia shikamu akanjikata kumutima. Mwalanda behavior abantu ebakwata mu politics ifuma oko bafuma oko ofo bakula. Yes. Pitamo if you balanda po ifuma oko ba, it's the background. Number if you bakupush. Mkwai. Nomba ninkwateri push up peni follow up question kuli mwebene. Inga bali abakalamba abatuka abayiche mu politics abalanda kuba ichi no musalula. What is your comment?
You see, if you want to what you sow is what you reap. Chindiko mwa itenda chindiko. So if you are addressing Bwalya Nondo because he's young and you are using disrespect, kind of language, definitely the way I'm going to respond won't actually sound so respectful to you. So respect has to reciprocate. But what we are talking about is the reason why we argue or we get into this discourse, because we are looking at a common interest, our nation, and we have our leaders who are presiding over our affairs. So if they are not fair with us, we have the right to complain. We need to remind them of their responsibilities. But what I've noticed is that in politics, when a leader errs, he doesn't want to be reminded of his responsibility. At Nishimwantuka, you remember in 2021, before general elections, President Hakainde Hichilema in opposition was in Kasama, and he used a certain Himba word. Atiapa, ni don't kuveva, ngavashtanani, there's a certain word that he used. And that was not expected of him as the leader at that level. You get it? So we need to gauge ourselves. As a leader, at what level am I operating? It's like I'm addressing Yavana. There are certain words that I can't use to my girl child that can be used at liberty to my boy child. So, in short, wisdom is very important in communication, especially when it comes to politics. You need to use wisdom. You don't just utter words. Certain words can hurt people and can be misconstrued. That's why it's important that as a leader, you become a good communicator.
Thank you
and you
so
should
much.
not use emotions.
Thank you so much, Comrade Nondo. That is a very brilliant submission.
Thank you.
Do you think our leaders, they are doing their job to maintain discipline and sanity in the political arena?
For me, I think the biggest problem we've had in politics is like all other professions, you merely getting to be close to someone who is an actual politician doesn't make you one. People don't even understand their ethics, even in all other faculties and fields. So you find by virtue of me being close with you or close to you, and you hold a political position or an elective position, and then maybe the reason I'm around you is because I have some scores to settle with a particular individual who is contesting for the position you're contesting for. Then my energy in decampaigning the person is misunderstood to be very political. People would be like, this one is a true politician. Have you seen how he's managed to bring that particular individual down? When in the real sense, I am just merely a politically exposed person. And we have so many politically exposed persons in politics that are bringing a bad name to politics itself, irrespective of age. It's not by virtue of one being an adult. There is an aspect of truth and respect. The truth is, if a person misconducts themselves, misrepresents the people, and misunderstands, chooses to misunderstand, or is misunderstood to be choosing to misunderstand, maybe the issue is they do not have the capacity to manage something. You realize that they get to fall off in the face of those that probably believed in them, thinking they were politicians. As a result, the moment I get to define a wrong that has been perpetrated by an adult or a young person, that in itself, because there are people who are so, enthusiastic about politics, they are passionate about it. They can do whatever it takes to just improve lives. And they later realize the person they've been backing does not actually carry the same agenda as themselves. They get disappointed and they say things. And the things they say are truthful things that in the end are misunderstood to be disrespectful. So if you are to ask issues of respect, it's relative, it's complicated. It is a complete dichotomy because you never really get to be in a point or in a place where, like Comrade Nondo was saying, you cannot say politics is dirty and you cannot say politics is clean. It just hangs in there. So the hanging of it, truth be told, it is quite complicated, but what is important is let's also get to a point of appreciating what individuals we have in our space. I'll give an example. Depending on the area you are in, depending on the culture in that particular area, as a politician, you need to be sensitive about the beliefs of the people so that you don't get to be misunderstood.
There's quite very ashiri nchikata kopa nono. I think me I become Daringa mwafika ma politics ni level moine level ground pamo penye na chumfwe ntunguru shishimwelo twachiralanda pachanda tawe himbe echi twachira ma politics uamutwe ukulu tasole nkonyo bakulu bishiresa fyo kuyaisa bala so kwini balesa nkonyo. No, but do you think my politics it's fair? Abakalamba bena kuti balanda filifyonse fyo balefwa aba ichenga basuka atitako atomchinshi. Do you think it's fair? Or do you think it can work?
That is where I'm saying you need to understand why that particular adult is in politics. Are they politically exposed merely just by being politically exposed? Do they really understand what they're getting themselves into? And again, remember, there's always a social contract, be it written or verbal. If I'm going into office, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'm promising you, I'm giving you my word. The moment you fail to do it, you are at liberty. Those that have disappointed, they're at liberty to say what they want to say. But now, answering your question, it's unfair. Some adults are just by age. Others were privileged to be born early. And it doesn't mean that they deserve the respect. They need to be kept in check. They need to be guided. They need to be told when they're doing a wrong thing. No wonder it is said, Amanu of Makwisa, Mwifwesa ya kwisa. Muchuru. Teddy.
Kafwasa. I don't know that one.
Atamano yafuma mwifwesa ya muchuru.
Yes.
Ya muchinshi muchuru.
Muchuru. If Wesa is like a small anthill, then Ichuru is a bigger one, very big actually. Yes. So meaning even a young person can actually advise an older person. It doesn't mean that if you are older than somebody, you can't get advice from a younger person. Okay. Amano mambulwa but awawe mbanko nkobalanda chamano mapuli bapula fie.
What okay, thank you so much, Comrade. Mukelabai.
Yes, my dear.
Do you think our political leaders, they've provided good guidance in this political arena, especially to the young generation? If you don't agree, why don't you? If you agree, why do you agree?
Thank you so much. Well, I will just add on top of what my colleagues have already put here, that politics, when you exercise politics of honesty and you respect other people or the people that you are either administering your whatever to, you will see that you will get the respect that you deserve. But when you practice politics that is not that is full of dishonesty and full of attacking, or you promise people, you are kukelenka abantu kukelenka okubepa abaiche And then when it comes to implementation, kusanga kutirati, things have gone the other way around. Definitely the youths or the people that you promised will feel broken, will feel disappointed. And they will come to you so that you can account for ask you questions to why have you not fulfilled your promises. Our politics, we know that when you go out there, you are selling ideas. Politics is just selling ideas to the people, and whoever buys it and respect or follow your preambles, your main aims and objectives, then that's it. Then they hold on to you and follow and want to see that your promises and your dreams come true. But then you are put in the position that you were crying for, and then suddenly they start seeing these shortcomings, and then they don't get what they were promised. Then you will find that people will turn around, and this is how now the spirit of democracy comes in, where a human being, every individual has the right to choose. You are not compelled, you are not under duress to stick to the person that you know does not carry your vision, does not carry or does not fulfill your the promises that he made. You are at liberty to walk your way or join the people that you feel you speak the same voice or will listen to you or carry your vision. So that's how we enjoy democracy. Unfortunately, in our Zambian politics, there's a lot at stake. There's a lot of there's a lot of demarcation. Even when you don't agree with what the politicians within your region are busy crying or telling you, but you are forced, you're compelled due to peer pressure, due to region pressure, you are pressurized to simply support nifira tulanda okushita support ifyo mumungulu just because uli wa ku certain region. So that's why we always advise people to say, listen, mwila imafye mwama ya pamiela no kwamba okutuka bali abalechita those who are in either opposition or who are not carrying your vision. You have to understand what they stand for and speak issues. What is it that they stand for that you think do not agree or do not you are not conforming with your beliefs? So it is important. But what we see Zambia, like what I will simply be direct, like what we used to see Kuma Youths Vesu in PF during the previous regime. Mwale moina mwewe kalachalo pafye apama TV abalumendo amakadas will come and start showering the leaders in the opposition or those that were not supporting with profanities, insult. I think you bear with me, but everyone on this forum, that you will see even the young ladies that we used to feel like these are women, they have a soft heart. But when you hear them showering the nation with insults, nayo inselete shiria inselesha isha iwe do nishiria nsele cho twale chitati twale tina na ifoni shtwali abaiche tatetu wewe umuntu mukalamba this kind of, but that is what we were subjected to for a long time. And when you see our leaders, the people that we trusted, and with the laws, what they are there because we gave the laws to ourselves, and they are not coming forth to arrest the situation, and they let it just go muyayaya. Then that's when we start losing respect. Nondo tingataule pero mchinsha baiche. They will definitely they will reciprocate as well. Do unto others as you'd want them do unto you. So what I can say is that kuma leaders vesu ama politicians badle law. I think they are busy pushing their own agendas and sidelining. Fact, actually, not even sidelining, but using abaiche, because vengi using ama youths. And when they have given a ladder, they are up there. Those youths are no more of importance. They are forgotten and abandoned.
Mukelabai, just hold your thoughts with that. I want to keep Nondo to react to a point you raised. Nondo, Comrade Nondo. During the PF regime, aba misepera baletuka bakalamba bale bonfya language shali bwino olobana mayo sometimes bale baba musalula
so namwishiba obwafya twakwata fwema Zambians tatufaayo okulanda ekishinka ekyatuwamina ekyo tufaayo twalanda. I don't think chera tukutali ni PF ili aletuka bana wakwe. All of us remember, and he has been paid for doing that. Now recorded the video where Bernard Mulenga was insulting the president, then President Lungu, and he was not PF. So let's not look at where do this person belong to, because in politics, both our more opposition and our ruling, we've actually set a precedent where our HFF abena chera tukuta abena nawa nawambia abashara nawambia mu PF abale tukana bonze.
No, what I said, my brother. Can I just
no? Let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Let me just help you on that part.
Because I'm trying to state the fact. Because you are not the only one.
I'll come back to you. Hold your thought, Mukelabai. I'll come back to you.
Let me just finish. Because let's run with facts, not narratives. And this is the narrative that the UPND has been running with, excusing themselves to say, Vena, Tamwa Benseri. This is why I'm citing examples. And I'm not trying to defend those in the PF that insulted. This is why I'm saying, if a wrong is done, let's not look at where this person is coming from or where he belongs. Let's condemn that vice.
You're right.
So that we create a society where Mukelabai will be very much free to do politics, knowing that there is morality. Exactly. I've been in politics for a long time, and I've never insulted. I'm very vocal, that I can tell you. And if Mukelabai, you do something, I'm not going to beat by the bush. I'm such a person who call a spade a spade. Even during our time in power, I criticized heavily some of my leaders. Because it's not about a political party, it's about a nation. It's about a society. Now, if we are going to be saying, we PF, PF, na UPND na tukana. This is why I even gave an example of the current president. He used some insults in Kasama when he was addressing the people, which was not
Mukelabai, you wanted to react from what Nondo is saying.
Yes, what I wanted to just say was that what I meant was during the PF regime, I did not, if you heard me, I have not specified those youths that Bwalya PF cadres. I did not say that. I simply said during PF regime, there was a time when we were showered, the nation was showered with profanities on social media, insults after insults, and the authority did nothing. That's what I meant. I did not point like Nondo put it to say Muvita Nawa and Chela Tukuta. Because I don't even know.
I was giving him as an example.
Yes. But I did not
him as an example.
But me, I did not mention anybody. I just said during.
When you say during PF, everybody will believe to say PF tolerated that, but you remember that it was UPND and the president, the current president actually,
No,
who
no, the one
called
that
Bena
was
Chair to do that, to say, these are heroes.
abakweta makaniba nani?
They were arrested.
Thank you. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for those submissions. Let us harmonize the situation.
The authority was not just.
Let us harmonize the situation.
Okay.
So both Comrade Nondo and Mukelabai, we agree that both sides, we had pockets of insults and lack of disrespect. Now, riding on the same, a lot, there are people that are even shunning away from politics because there's this perception that has been built over the years that for you to be in politics, every now and again, we hear whether it's idioms in our local languages that are being used, and some of them, they are insulting and the like. So from that perspective, is it really possible that criticisms over issues can be made without hinging on a person's character and using idioms or language that is insulting? I'll start with Comrade Mufwaya. Comrade Mufwaya, is it possible?
Thank you very much, Comrade CJ. I was listening to the boys batter it out.
It was correcting. We were trying to correct each other. We were not.
Yeah. Anyway, that's how we build anyway. Yeah. So the question is, what's the question again? Before I go somewhere else.
So my question was, is it possible, to discuss issues and criticize without using the almost insulting insulting language and all the idioms that easily make you think that this is an insult and, that are disrespectful to the other person? Is it possible to argue these political issues without using such language or disrespect?
It is very, very possible. And it's very possible. And somehow I just feel where two people with conflicting ideas are, you don't expect them to just naturally arrive at a conclusion without misunderstanding each other, without actually trying to support their opinions. That is why mostly we are encouraged to desist from practicing partisan politics when it comes to issues of national concern. So if anything, it's possible. The biggest problem I think we've had is we don't take politics seriously. We don't realize that politics, like Aristotle said way back, that it is a master science. It is we are custodians. We are vanguards of our society as politicians. We are the preachers preach about hope in the next life, about a good life in the next life, a life beyond this life. But politicians bring that particular good life to reality. We always seek for solutions. So in the quest of looking for solutions, and there are two different people with two great ideas, you expect people at some point not to really get to appreciate, especially when the other one is a bit rigid. So if you're dealing with a rigid person who is not even willing to bend, they think bending is actually a sign of weakness. You definitely will not expect progress. As a result, you will forever be pulling, shoving, roughing each other up to a never-ending solution. As a result, many are going to suffer, many will not have drugs, many will be unemployed, many are not going to have their security, many of our people will be destitute. So I think the moment we get to understand why we're getting ourselves involved in politics, all of us are trying to use, borrow the words of Comrade Mukelabai. He said, we are selling our manifesto. It is not our manifesto only we are selling. We are selling hope to the hopeless. We are selling a vision for our people. We've sat down, thought through whatever is not making our societies work, and we are trying to find a way in which we can create a synergy in our society, and realizing that the moment we are apart, definitely we will never get to experience the development we all claim and wish we would have. If you are to look at America today, you look at Europe today, you look at Dubai today, it took a mind, and not minds, a mind that realized the need of putting their resources to a use that was going to be good, not only for themselves, but for generations to come. That is why others say, con men in politics think about the next election. Noble men in politics thinks about the next generation. And it's important we started thinking and shaping our thoughts to that direction.
Wow, wonderfully said. Mr. Chirwa, welcome to Ubuntu channel. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. I greet everyone on board. Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. We'll be getting back to you. Just a follow up on that one. You know, we see like we get the impression that politics nowadays looks at bringing down the person in the party, okay, by any means necessary, whether it is character assassination, but it's like looking at the way it is played nowadays. We see all these, including petty things, being put out just to bring down the other person. How can this really be overcome? Because you find real issues are being overshadowed by these petty and personal fights. What is the best way, and how is that supposed to be sorted out? I'll start with Comrade Nondo.
Nondo.
Sorry,
thank you
Comrade
very much.
Nondo.
Okay. Nondo is a different person. Okay. It's important that we acknowledge that everything rises and falls on leadership. So if leadership fails to take responsibility, then we find ourselves in a mess. Even things that are not supposed to be
Okay, we seem to have lost Mr. Nondo there. I'll throw it to Mukelabai.
What was your question again?
So my question is that the kind of politics that we are seeing these days is where there's a lot of mud slinging at each other. Just to bring down who's in the other party. You find all that is gathered up and real issues are not addressed. How can that be sorted out? Why does it seem that is the new way that politics is being handled nowadays?
You see, the problem that we have in Zambia is, or rather in African politics, is that most of these politicians who want to call themselves politicians, they are mostly trained in different fields, but not in political sciences or the political field. And that's why you find there's a lot of chipante-pante, and they want to use the knowledge that they acquired in their own discipline, and they want to bring it into to try to bring people together with their discipline Since in some areas it does not work. In some people who are lucky, it works. However, we have laws in Zambia or in Africa as general that we tend to ignore. And some of these laws, if we were to follow them properly, we were going to have societies that are well organized, that there's no insulting or downplaying other people, but we are using the rule of law. But when we avoid the rule of law, there will be chaos, there will be disorder, and just like what we experienced in Zambia before. We know what we went through. We know that there was a little bit. The order that was there that we wanted was not up to date. I believe even today, with this new current government, the order that is there, in some other people, they don't find it up to date because there's still some issues that they need to work on. That is the African type of politics where we sideline, we don't follow the rules, the laws that we gave ourselves. We go to the parliament to sit there and legislate laws that are going to help us to govern our nation. But instead of following, you find the very legislatures, they're the ones actually who are the victims, not the victims, the perpetrators not to follow what they are busy enacting. And these are the same people that are busy now misleading the majority. People, when they see your fellow, the people that you've entrusted with authority, do not take the laws seriously. They go and become corrupt. They think they tell you they have enacted laws, there should be zero corruption in the country, but they are the number ones that are busy. There should be no nepotism. They're the number ones that are busy doing nepotism. There should be no tribalism. There should be no insult or defamation. There will be no, but you find they go and tell their own people, can we do this? The things that the laws that we gave ourselves, we go against those things, those laws. And what do you see? Society becomes ungovernable, and many people will come out in their own different ways, because everyone now, as Ankara, for themselves, they just want to find peace and tranquility, and they will do anything. They will do anything to be safe.
Thank you very much,
as you know that as human beings, we love pleasure, and we love pleasure and avoid at all cost pain. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, it beats me most of the time. We've had alliances formed and alliances collapsing. And currently, usually it seems very difficult for opposition leaders to sit together, have a light moment, and, discuss issues amicably, nicely together. Why does it seem a very difficult task to get our opposition leaders to sit together and handle issues together? I'll bring in Mr. Chirwa on this one. Comrade Chirwa.
Thank you so much. I've heard a very good narration from my campaign manager, Mukelabai. I greet you. I'll be direct and brief. Number one, the reason why I join Ubuntu is because I learn some things, and I have emotion to hear out my voice. So what is killing us, that the politicians, number one, is not understanding what they've gone to do in parliament. Number two, failing to understand what they are called for as politicians. Number three, poverty. Those are things that are making these politicians to go off way. If one is poor, if one is living a life of poverty, would wants to find a living. In finding a living, that person will be collapsed. Then the direction is lost. Then secondary, wayafe join ama politics, you don't even understand what politics is all about. You don't have a vision. You don't have a proper direction. At the end of the day, they will go, you are they will follow. So at the end of the day, you'd find that in the process, there is no wisdom applied in this politics. Henceforth, there are a lot of enmity, unnecessary enmities. That's why even sitting together, we are here because I'm sure we do respect one another in one way or the other in this Ubuntu channel. So you find that even making statements, even if I comment to say, Mukelabai is my campaign manager, he knows and understands to say Chirwa is joking. But then if Mr. Mukelabai is not understanding that this young man is joking, just here and there you hear punches from each and every other person. So not knowing what they want to do is killing the politicians. Then also being a poverty, it's easy for politicians to divert from this party to another party or this party to fail, because you find that we are having politicians that wants to gain, not to drive the passion. I think those are my few remarks I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'll throw the question to Mr. Okay, am I audible?
Ahead.
I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. Did you say something?
I think Mr. Nondo is back.
Mr. Nondo wants to say something. I heard his voice.
Okay. Mr. Nondo, you can come through. Himba, I think you can take it up.
He's muted.
Nondo seems to be having a challenge coming through.
Thank you so much, CJ, and thank you so much, comrades. Viewers, you're welcome to join us in the studio through your comments and through the link that has been shared. Tulefu okumfwa ifile chitika background ifile chitika oko muli ushentungurushe bo twabika ukuya mukutulandirako munganda ya ati munganda yanshe yamafunde munganda yamafunde ushe balatulandirako ushe bamukulandira bamubalanda ati bamukulandirako fya amafumo yabo olo amapafu yabo tulefu ati umfwe, please come and share what happens in your community. Are the MPs doing their job? Are the whatever political party is there, whether nibamfwa abawino abawina bale bomba iseni come into the studio bwelani mtijoine tufuna tumveleve vichitika ta sharing a link ba ubuntu, you please come and join the team. This topic or these ideologies we are sharing here, it's in the interest of developing Mother Zambia. And having said that, Bariu, do you think imisepela shilesambirira amapolitics yamano kuliye ishintungulu shitwakwata nomba ndefu afe munja asikye okufuma pamutima pano our leaders veti now, do you think they are teaching politics of substance to the young generation?
I think the leaders are. From my experience, I've always considered myself a student of life. If you're not interested in what's going on, you never ask questions, you will never follow the right people in the right places, and you don't expect to just the doors to just be opened for you by virtue of you being alive. No. You always have to show concern and show that actually you're interested, you really want to know what's going on and how you can probably get to contribute to the greater good of your country. So our leaders, for me, I'll tell you this one thing I've realized: most people are willing to share their experiences, to share their concerns, their worries about what is going on. They are very much so willing. The biggest problem we have is young people. Most young people, you find that we're scared and ashamed to be honest with how much we don't know. Most people want to act as if, they already have an understanding of the status quo, even when they don't. As a result, the moment I act as if I know, chances are that I will never get to be given an opportunity to know. That is why
all we are available. We share ntungulushi bale chitefrefu aikwa kumisepela pantu twalimva kwati ntungulushi shimo shilalipile emisepela kuya mkutuke ntungulushi shinabo intungulushi shimo shirebe emisepela efya kuchita inga mwayapa muye muchitefi nefi. So nshirelanda fye, I'm not just asking this question based on your political party or maybe based on the able lawyer KBF. I'm asking generally. Kwali we ntungulushi shimo ishitefi osho twamvapo. Kwali bane ntungulushi shimo esha chetekela fyo kupanga kaganga tabankala basunga banda baiche. Nkalaba pelo tumpie, and you make those young people to feel so vulnerable so that they depend on this specific or this political leader. Whatever pelo tumpie, whatever bumfia for their dirty work. Do you think they're doing the right thing in the political arena?
I'll be very sincere with you. I began my politics when I was in 8th grade.
Yeah.
I am not an expert. I'm still a student of life.
Yeah.
Yes. And my answer is purely based on my experiences in politics.
Okay.
And one of the things I'm going to tell you is I belonged to the party. I belonged to the party is the way. Comrade Nondo knows what I'm talking about. The party is intact. The party is popular. I belong to that political party. So I was privileged to have been found in the presence of actually I used to move around with the intercity guys most of the times, the so-called thugs, because people failed to actually really understand who they were, because they didn't know how to speak English, because they were most of their time they spent it on the street. They have their own jargon, which a normal person gets to find a bit barbaric. Yeah. So one thing I can tell you confidently and truthfully is these old people, the moment you tell them what needs done, they are good listeners. Even in the very heart of the heat, trust me, they are very good listeners. The biggest problem we've had.
Ryu, just hold your thoughts. I think there's a reaction. I'm hearing a reaction somewhere. Is it Comrade Nondo who wants to react? Please go ahead.
I don't understand why I'm not being, heard, because I'm able to hear everything clearly.
We can hear you now.
Ama questions mwaipusha yafulisha lyana chitafu kuingira mwachipusha imbi. My brother there, Chitambo, said there's no full cooperation between opposition political parties. They can't sit and agree on one thing. Maybe if I can pick it up from there.
Okay.
You see.
Okay. You know that I think that's just give me a minute. I go back with Mfwayokansha. I thought you were reacting to his point, then I'll come to you then.
No. I was just trying to establish my foundation so that I come to.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Like I said earlier on, everything rises and falls on leadership. When we say muma politics kwaliba abakalamba batumaba echokuya mukushitefinefi, the biggest problem is that people think every dirty thing happens in politics. Not only in politics,
life in general, and that it depends no wakulila. If you look at the setup of mafia, they have people who do dirty works for them. The big guys cannot do certain things, so they need to organize abaiche nangubambi balaba kwe bati bali kwata low self-esteem. For instance, I've been in politics for a long time, and I'm not a type that would allow somebody to use me to go and throw stones, to go and insult somebody, to go and attack somebody. So it depends on how you classify yourself, what cluster a view presented before the leaders, and what kind of leaders are you under? Are you under those leaders that would want to lose morality and just do whatever they want to do in order for them to push their agenda? Those are the things that we need to look at. So it goes back to where you are coming from. What kind of a character are you before you come into politics? Because if you're the baggages you are carrying from home is what you're going to take into politics. Politics is an empty set. Songa wa isula, kubika motu uchoko, mwabika motu penso, mwabika motu raba, and everything that is needed in there. So the leaders or the one who is carrying that, set will actually know. Ushe raba yaku lembela konangu yaku futi lako. Ushe penso yaku tila koshani. That's what happens before we even say in politics. These things happen at every level. Now, we need to talk to our leaders if they claim to be leaders. Because if you are a leader, you need to inspire somebody. You are not a leader that is going to start instigating violence and pay somebody to go and fight somebody or attack somebody or insult somebody. You need to be a leader. Like my Mukelabai said, we need to sell ideas. As a leader or as the person who claims to be a leader, what kind of ideas do you have? The ideas that are going to help not only you, but the people that you represent and the people that you lead. That's the kind of leadership we need to look at. But what surprises me a lot is that in Zambia, I think Zambian politics...
Can I quickly come in and pose a question? Sorry.
Yes.
I think if I may be allowed, I think I need to follow clearly. I think I've loved the way Mr. Nondo Bwalya is explaining about Nondo. But I think the question, if I got it right, was that, are we learning something from these readers? Are they doing the right thing in teaching the young ones? So here, what you're explaining on two basics, the good reader and the bad reader. Mm-hmm. So now what we want to know, is, are they doing the right thing? Are they doing I don't know how I can put it, like the way you had asked. Are they teaching us the morals that we need to learn? Some of these readers. So when we are speaking, we have positive readers and negative readers. So if we say these negative readers, on the point of Madame Himba, she's based on the negative readers, those that are misreading, then of course there are a few good readers. I think your reaction may be on that.
If she's basing her question on the wrong leaders, then definitely you can't say, are they doing a right thing or a wrong thing? If they are wrong leaders, then you don't expect them to do a right thing. Only a right person and the right leader would actually produce that which is positive.
So now the second question, just there, the second question is coming from our brother. When you say a good reader has to be has to provide the good readership skill, that's where now the other question. Yeah, so there's a question that our brother Mr. CJ asked. I've just forgotten the question in relation to that. That's where, even when you're explaining, when you say this one is a good reader, this one is a bad reader, then what is making the most associate?
Can I respond with an example? For instance, Emkwai.
Nalampela 1 minute mupuishe.
Emkwai, just a minute. So let me respond kuli Bachirwa by citing an example. If I fall under somebody I call a leader, naisa tukaba Bachirwa, and that leader of mine calls me a hero, is that a good leader or a wrong leader who is trying to bring confusions? Because Bachirwa na venata ba umfwe wino. Ukwe batumwa echena ntuka, elo nomba wachikulire baremu bata, eba ume abo tufwaya abo. You get it? And this is what we see.
But Nondo.
Emkwa.
Twali umfwe ntungulushi. Echo na ipuisha equation in tungulushi. I like the way you started in your preamble, where you said, ba UPND, bali kwa tapondi, aba musalula, or actually you further went all the political parties. You said this seed is found in every aspect of life. So
exactly.
As much as you say, ababalila ndefi nga twatampa okulashita tukala pairinga atuku balila ndefi nokubalila ndefi ukubalila ndefi nokubalila ndefi uyu alila ndefi
the moderator if you heard me right, I didn't mention the political party nachira example. For instance, if I fall under your leadership, then naisa tukaba achirwa and Mairo mwasanje but no eba umiava, is that good leadership? That's the example. I didn't say niba from this political party. No, it's just an example that I cited. Then it's up to you now to know exactly what kind of leadership are we having in this country. Because those examples are very general and all of us knows exactly what really happened in our political parties. This is why I'm not exempting any political party because Mairo, for instance, in Narinare, Leron Nebo PF, Mairo Mukensan, political players are just one and the same. They just change ama jerseys. Quite few never ama players. Oh, Leroba Ronaldo, never Man U, Mairo bali ku Madrid and the same. But the skill na character yo bakwata. Balaya na yena nga bafuma ku Manchester bakana na same character and same skill ku Madrid. This is what happens even in politics. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, please.
Himba,
I'm here.
You had interrupted Bamfire. I don't know if he completed his submission.
Okay, thank you. Nondo kange balansambilisha sana. Lyonsenga waisa niwa lecture bantu bama politics. Mukelabai. Just hold on, my dear. Bamfire, sorry. What is your reaction? Or you continue with where I came in, please. Barrio.
I don't even know where to start. I'm saying I don't even know where to start from.
I concur with you because I also got somehow. But it's okay.
Yes. Just so what I was trying to explain anyway. What I was trying to explain, in part with what Comrade Nondo has also mentioned, is it depends with how you view certain things as a young person in politics, and mostly wherever you go, different is mostly rejected when they first see it and realize this particular person is an outlier. They will not treat you, they will not welcome you there and then. But later on, when they realize you actually mean...
But do you think our young people or our young politicians are able to do you think are able to judge? And when I'm saying about young people, I'm talking about our generation, because now the kind of the leadership, the political leaders rise on our shoulders. Whether we like it or not, their time is gone. They've actually taken over from our generation. We have to start taking up positions and positioning ourselves into leadership positions. This is the generation I'm talking about, Bamfwa. What is your reaction?
Whether it is a generation after this generation, the gone generations, the current generation, my point is The moment leaders get to know how different you are, how much you love the people, because the biggest quality of any leader is love for the people. The moment you love the people, you do whatever it takes. That is why we say our political party manifestos later on become known as our national interest. That becomes a document that defines the will of a particular people, because they voted a political party into office. That political party now starts working and implementing their manifesto. It becomes the will of the people. It becomes the national interest. So even as young people, when you are getting involved in politics, if you're not honest, trust me, even the way leaders are going to treat you. That's why others are sent to go insult, mudsling, say bad things, and even take away lives. Why? Because of the way they have nothing to bring on the table, but they're just participants who are not there. There's nothing novel about them. There's nothing special. Even right now, in the current political dispensation, trust me, I'm even more worried with the state of affairs. You know, there are certain things that would happen that are not in the interest of the masses, but yet you find a certain particular grouping of young people, instead of being honest to say what is happening, there is a hunger, certain things are not done right, they will never mention that. They will say PF was worse. That is not the point. Let's be realistic with ourselves. So the moment you want to start assassinating or expressing or rather playing displacement games, the moment the leaders are done with the PF, they will now come to you and fix you like they fixed the PF. The issue is not those gone. The issue is not who did what wrong. The issue is what can we do right to make our country better. And again, as a young person, what is your contribution? Irrespective, this I'm going to tell you, Comrade Nondo knows who I am. I walked out of PF with my head high. I spoke. My name is Real Mufwaya. My name is Real Real Mufwaya. I spoke when it was not fashionable to speak. I told the people what they never wanted to hear, to a point where later on, whenever they would want to make some statements to say, PF, they would even say, different. Are you getting it? That is why you find people like KBF, if you are to ask other political players, how did a prominent lawyer, politician, decide to choose a person who is seemingly a novice to others to be National Youth Chairperson under his political party? It should tell you something. Are you getting it? So I think the way we carry ourselves, it has nothing to do with how disabled the decision of the old people are. The reason we are getting in politics is because
thank you, Variu to Atotela. Hold your thought. I'll come back to you. As I've heard from all of you here, our panelists, I've heard that we are talking about the empty set, which one of our comrades mentioned here. According to what Bamfwa Mwalanda, namuna kwa tulelanda pali empty set, which one of our comrades mentioned, who was saying there's an empty set here, which yalikwata raba, yalikwata penso, yalikwata sharpener, yalikwata nakareza, fyonseme fyaba. So intunguru shofo ishita, wala munataka kareza na laka bonfya pesa, na kaya katu kensele. Iraba na lai bonfya kuisa, na iye kumarket. Did I get the comrade right? So yes, this is the set we are talking about here. And can I be allowed to also say that is the same segment which Comrade Mufwaya has also said that Amalidazi, I only hope young people out there, you are getting this message. They are saying Amalidas are according to what you present yourself, what you sell in that set. That's where they are going to use you. If you are going to end the Nondo bachilandati, ama leaders, baramuna n'abakwata self-esteem, abakula abafya yesi bwana and the like, and they will use you in that category. So young people out there, hope you are listening and you are getting this message and you are changing the narrative in the political arena. Mukelabai, what's your submission on that empty set we are talking about?
No, it all borders or anchors on leadership, like Nondo put it. When you have a well visionary and well placed leadership, and the leadership that is inclusive, you will find that everyone, they are not going to leave anyone behind. They will carry everyone on board. But of course, it doesn't mean that everyone will fit in those puzzle, will fit the puzzle. There will be certain individuals that have, of course, like Nondo put it, that they have low self-esteem, they're low, and what is there is that our leadership should just pay attention, should have the political will, especially when we are talking about the youths, should have the political will to improve the welfare of the youths, not just to use them. Because what I've realized, our politics in Zambia today is that we, the elderly or the matured or the senior politicians that are matured and have certain status in the society, they tend to go down and kill the dreams of the young generation by dingling a carrot in front of them. So when the youth see that and they think that's life, and then they are lured into doing certain things that are totally will destroy their future, they are not going to build anything. So in short, most of our senior politicians, they're dream killers. They kill our young men's dreams. Most of them, they tend to overstay in offices. Most of them, they tend not to give or to groom. They do not groom the young ones into these prospective higher offices. They are not motivating. They don't even save. You can tell from even parents, Umayanda, they don't save. Muntu ayafa interstate kuyasanga estate bashata pa banangu chimo, not balelira kumofyonse, not even ka wheelbarrow kakupera omwana. So you can tell from this kind of narrative, say this mindset is not just in our families, it goes beyond to politics, to these people who are in decision making decision. I mean, can you help me here? I have run out of that word again. In a decision-making position, okay? They are the ones that are busy killing the young people. They are not motivating the young generation. Look at the appointments. Some of the appointments, you go and wake up a retiree, somebody that has already retired, but you have a fresh of university graduates lining up 50, 100 of them waiting for jobs. And then you go and wake up a retiree to say, come and be in this position where they take up a position of those youths. So it is a political will from our leadership. So what I can only say is that the youths, we don't have to simply sit back and wait for the politicians to come and knock on our doors. Let us learn to do something. We have our own passion. We should not only dwell onto politics, because politics is not for everyone. If you want to venture into politics, go to school, study political science, politics, anything to do with politics. Invest your time in that area so that when you join politics, you have information, you are well informed and disciplined, unlike somebody coming to lie to you, pay you money to go and flash on the media, to go and burn money, to go and buy guns and flash money, so and kill people. To me, you cannot do that if you are a well-informed youth. When you see a leader that is coming to tell you, do this, you will be in the right mindset and tell that leader, Nami kanina, kasende numwana when notine, I cannot work for this crap. Then you move on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mukelabai, for that fantastic submission. Comrades, I wish we could go on and on and on. As we are coming towards the end of the show, I would love to ask one question as you conclude. I'll start with Comrade Nondo. Comrade Nondo, where do you see Zambia in the next 10 years, especially in the political arena? And do you see us having a crop of good leaders in the political arena?
To give you a very straight answer, I don't think we're going to have good leaders, especially in politics, in that period that you've mentioned.
Why? He's gone. Okay, well, we are waiting for him to come back. The same question.
Thank you very much, madam. I think I was a little bit in brief and I didn't want to explain much, but my father there, Mukelabai, has helped me a lot. The first question when I came in, I said, what is killing politics these days? We don't know what we want to do in politics. So that's the reason why with me, I say, if we are not careful, we are going to lose the election and do not have better leaders. Why? Because we don't understand. Mukelabai has said, venture into politics. Now people are just going into politics unknowingly. They just see someone doing fine in politics, they join. And that is it keeps on killing Nondo as we expect people that are coming in politics, like people like some of us, we may not be so much into politics, but at least we've moved in angles. I'll give a practical example. Today I blasted someone where some police officers were chasing a vehicle. Okay, I'm having some network challenge here.
Okay.
I'm back, Madam Moderator.
Maybe you go out bachirwelo mubwele bala mishta login ekwe batlimbi network yala ba clear. Kapena mchoke then mubwele futhi.
Nani mbwela?
Okay, now mbwela bwa Nondo, you can carry on. Then twala kuli ba mfwaya.
Yeah, I think to feel to understand wino ama politics. You see, you don't join politics if you don't have politics in you. You don't have to go and study political science for you to do politics. I think from a basic perspective, if you are to participate in politics, sometimes you should not even involve yourself in partisan politics. Politics is just simply disagreeing with what you think is an injustice, is something that is not going to benefit the people. Politics is about keeping leaders responsible, holding leaders responsible for their actions. But if we are going to be people that are going to agree and pontificate everything that our leaders are doing, like the current politics that we have in Africa and Zambia in particular, where a leader is wrong, then he has a team of praise singers that are going to praise him for the wrongs that he's doing, so that it can appear though this is why I said we are not ready to have any good leaders in the next 10 years, because the kind of politics that we are practicing in this country, I don't know how we can define them. Because we can't tell our leaders, we can't look our leaders straight into the eyes and tell them to say, but abapenamu abepa finangu ni ndala nensala. I'll actually praise my leaders. No, things are working out. In whose interest? And this is why, as young people, we are being taken advantage of because we can't define our position. We are neither here or there. We just dance to the tune so that our leaders can like us. But they don't like us. They just like using us. When we realize to say we are useful idiots, then we are going to be moving forward. Madam Moderator, maybe you may allow me to be somehow, mbomfye kwe chivemba, insoselo. Shakwe, but you see, in society or in life, ichichalo muna, chabanga madako, tayabulwa mashinsha. In every society, you don't expect people to be the same. Mukababa tunturu, mukababa ko moderate, pakaba pone puba shanshan. So leaders knows and understand this science. So, namomwine afenge efinendera ndati chalo chabanga matako tayabulwa mashinsha. It's not everyone who claims to be leader who can lead the people. Other people claim to be leaders because they want to use they want to use power in order to advance their agenda. And young people must be aware of that.
Thank you so much, Comrade.
You are very welcome.
This is you're summarizing people. So can I let it be when it comes to your time? Please add that. I don't tell me Himba forgotten. Lemben kareka point. React.
Abapena nimbwera ine before tamulanje batikalale. Allow me to
before tamulambwela Bariu bachina chiwonfa bachira konkonsha. Bariu, are you reacting to what Nondo has said?
No. I didn't even realize my thing was on. Hope you didn't hear much of my conversation because they are supposed to be.
We didn't hear anything. Valezi iseni then to alabwela kuli Bariu then Mukelabai will be the last one to speak.
Ningufa kwati pleta kakaso. I think my point was that sometimes we the youths have got the vision to learn, but some leaders do not motivate us.
I like the way Bachilwa, as you are summarizing and bringing or submitting your point, you also remember that our point of discussion is the sanity in the political arena, the maturity, the civilization. We just tackled, they're allowed to go out of our topic a little bit, talk about the young people because they are the ones who've been used to make the political arena to look and clean. So let's also touch a little bit to our topic as we are talking about these young people because they are the ones who are being used to dent the political arena. Over to you, Bachilwa.
So, Manje Mwarandu Fya Madam Himbe, I was reacting to a question that was asked. So, sometimes if we are discussing, we are in the middle of a discussion, then sometimes we pull off our thoughts because we want to concentrate on a certain discussion. I'm still learning Nondo already nimba mona bali ku parliament, so I'm following. Apaka mind in I'm still a young politician. If I was to join, so me I just want to react on the question that you had posed. Okay, is Zambia going to have a future leaders? To me, I still believe Zambia will still have future political leaders. If only the current leaders that we are having can venture into what Mukelabai said, into politics, they really understand the reason why they are there, then we are going to have good leadership. Today, I know I witnessed somebody being sat on the rights where this officer makes a case because the other one has made the case. Vare pepeko muntu na moto kam community because uli omuntu amona ba police ambo kubutuka, and they nearly killed people in the community. Then when I approached the officer, he says, I'm in patrol. I said, yes, you are in patrol, but you are doing the wrong thing. So if only people, we will have people that are going to orient in politics, then we are going to have good leaders. But provided we have people that are benefiting out of politics, then we will never have good leaders in the future. I submit.
Thank you so much, Comrade Chilwa. Comrade Riu, where do you see Zambia in the next 10 years, especially in the political arena? Do you think we are going to have a crop of good leadership in that political arena?
I so much believe we are headed in that direction. Previously, we had grade 12s who started this country, who set it running. Later on, we had the so-called intellectuals under the democratization period when we had the MMD. Later on, we had, the likes of President Sata. Then we had all these other people. I believe there are so many young people who are now concerned with the new age of technology. I'll give an example of how the UPND took advantage of the social media space in their campaigns, starting from 2016, 17, especially 2017. They were so hot on Facebook to a point where I remember people even referring to HH as the president of Facebook. He was the one in charge of Facebook, not realizing that there was a movement that was actually being created and an agenda had already been set. And all those who are being initiated and oriented and getting their accounts opened on social media, they already had found a space heated on political issues, to a point where today you realize any issue you bring, young people again are able to keep records on social media and get back to them and say, but you said, how come things are not moving? So I feel there are so many people right now who are now involved in politics for good reasons. That is why we now have the so-called disciplinary committee. So if you are to ask, the future looks promising for me. I so much believe through the interactions I've seen, young people getting themselves involved into, through also the unity I'm seeing on Facebook, and they are not even tribal at all. They are people who actually just love what you do, love you for you. They are not like the old who would be like, no, those, othering other people. It's not there. So the future is promising, and I believe in the next 10 years, if we continue moving at a pace we are moving, trust me, Zambia will definitely be one of the most respectable countries in Africa.
Thank you so much, Variu, to that fantastic submission. Over to you, Mukelabai.
Thank you so much. My submission will be like what my brother, the previous speakers, just alluded to. Zambia has a very, very bright future. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can see that. And the reason why we can see that, because we are looking at where we are coming from. Our track record hasn't been okay in terms of leadership, in terms of corruption, in terms of mismanagement of our resources. We can tell from the beginning, from Bakeke up to PF 2021. Now we have this baby, the new Dawn government in power, and we are watching. And when we see people rushing to conclusion to say they have failed already within 16 months in office, sometimes we even tend to wonder, do we really see where we came from? Do you know where we're coming from? I know that things are really not okay in terms of economy, and we know the reason, we know the attributes, what contributed to this this situation today. But we are not here to point fingers. But every Zambian today, they know where we came from. We know how we used to walk with the Bamakasa, Ofotwale Chula, Nefotwale Elia. I remember muri bakaunda twaletobera esabiri auma na menshi aya sort. So when you look at the way we came from and to compare to today, we see that there's a lot. And the politics that we are experiencing now, the politicians are running out of space. They can no longer lie to us because we have now access. We are creating also new laws that are going to make sure that they're going to govern us and monitor what these politicians, the people that we entrust with power, we see them and they're being transparent. We can tell when somebody steals, when somebody enriches himself within a shortest period of time. We can tell, the Zambian people can see. We know because we know where we came from. We know how much the Bwalya fola. Elo baingira fem politics 2 days if muntu ati ni millionaire. Mambo kumubona mambo kushita ne ndeke. Mwaipusha ba wishitwali bonse ni magic nshimupengile. So in the future, in 10 years, with the current leadership that we see, if this current leadership, they continue with being transparent and engaging the youths or the communities, the grassroots, I promise you, they are going to leave a good legacy. The only thing that this government is lacking is engaging the society. I know the reason why, because they claim they are working on the mess the previous regime left. But for how long? And we are waiting. We want to see results of the things that they are doing, because we don't want to just listening to lip service where you tell us the economy is bad, it was destroyed, but we don't see the people that you allege to have, that we allege to have misappropriated or destroyed the economy. They are walking freely and even mocking you, the current leadership. No, we are still working on the mess. So we want to see action. We want to see results. Tell the people, engage society. Natote.
Thank you very much, Mukelabai. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of today's program. Time is not thus. We have done 1 hour for 2 minutes, and my director tells me we have overshot our time. We want to thank each and every one of you for being part of tonight's broadcast. Thank you for the submissions that you made. Viewers, we thank you for being part of this broadcast. Unfortunately, due to time, we haven't read out your comments and we're not able to read out some. We just want to urge you to make a date with us. This program is a political program, and we've structured it in such a way that it's not very formal, and everyone is welcome to come in and make their submissions. The only thing that we do not allow is character assassination, defamation. We want issues to be discussed based on what is going on and facts without any form of malice and pulling down anyone. So thank you very much for being part of this broadcast. Mr. Nondo, thank you very much. Mr. Chirwa, Mr. Mufaya, Mukelabai, and everyone who was part of this broadcast. We want to say thank you and make a date with us next Tuesday, same time. Good night and bless.